What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite YouTuber, Austin Holloman, here in my favorite city in the world of Nairobi, Kenya. You guys, I am so in love with being here. I don't think I'm ever going to leave. I said I was going to do 6 months in Brazil, 6 months here in Nairobi, but maybe I should just do 12 months all together in Nairobi. And if you're part of the private WhatsApp group, you guys understand why I say that. I've been having a really good time here. The people are friendly. The food is good. It's cheap. I keep realizing like, oh, I'm getting Ubers and I'm not getting raped for the prices of the Ubers. So it's amazing to be here and I love it. And I don't need to be anywhere else, honestly. But we still will travel, but I don't need to. Now we're gonna bring on our special guest. You guys will be seeing him more often. It is Kevin Mosby Lifestyles, his YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his YouTube, and he will teach us about something that is very, very important in today's day and age, especially if you are a busy, productive man. I don't know if this is going to work for women, But if you are busy, productive, well, actually, women, y'all don't need to do anything. Y'all live life on easy mode, so y'all don't need any advice. But anyway, if you are a busy, productive man, this is something that could help you take advantage of your time. I've used it. I still use it. It's very effective, and we're gonna teach you guys exactly how we do this. So we're gonna bring Kevin Mosby up. What's going on? How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. It's great to be here. I'm a little too close. Let me back up a bit. Yeah, I'm doing great. It's great to be here with you guys. How are you doing, Austin?
I'm doing very
You
well,
have-
man. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah, I feel the same way about South America. I definitely regret spending all that time in Asia. The more time I spend here, I'm like, God damn, that sucks. Because it's literally just out of this world. Like every day, like I get more and more impressed with how amazing this place is, and how my perception of it before I came here was totally different than what it is now.
So, what is your strategy to have to get dates and all that kind of stuff in
Oh,
Buenos
it's
Aires?
online dating. I would say it's 99% online dating. Um, the truth of the matter is, yeah, there's day game, there's night game, but all in all, night game for me, I don't like going to bed at like 4 or 5 in the morning, especially if you're doing night game in Argentina. You're going to be going to bed at 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning, and then if you're wake, because Argentinian people love doing everything late. That's something about Argentinian culture in general. Um,
Uruguay is like that as well.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people operate very on a much more different time on a much more different time than me and you are used to. And the thing of the matter is that personally, I do not feel productive because I remember I used to go to sleep at like 4 or 5 a.m. when I was living in Asia because I was doing some business stuff. And a lot of times I would be up until 4 or 5, 6 a.m. and then I'd be waking up at 2 or 3 p.m. the next day and nothing would get done. And I felt so unproductive because of that. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
it sucks about
online
night.
dating. Well, let me ask you this: online dating beats day game and night game because of it allows you more time to have productivity, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the best use of your time, right? Like for me, like while we were waiting for people to join in, I was answering messages on Bumble, just getting ready for the weekend, and trying to schedule some dates for the weekend. Like I could literally do it while I'm taking my morning dump. I could literally do it while I'm waiting for my steak to finish cooking. I can literally do it anytime I want. I also have more options as well, right? So when I'm at a bar, or let's say I'm doing day game, let's talk about day game, right? You're only limited to the girls that are in the mall. And personally, I don't think it's the best use of my time to be walking around the mall for like 3 hours trying to find a girl to hit on. I think, especially in today's day and age, it's not worth it. Now, let's say, for example, you have to go to the mall to buy a sweatshirt, and maybe you spend some time walking around, exploring, and if you see a cute girl, then go talk to her. I'm saying do that, but don't go out of your way to go to the mall just to go hit on girls.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it definitely. When I refer to myself doing that, like when I was in Paraguay, I do that a lot, and I will refer to it as, yeah, Jason and I, we would just go fuck off 6 hours at the mall because that's essentially what
Wow.
we were doing. It was fun and we enjoyed it, but yeah, what we did in 6 hours, you could do in 6 minutes online.
Exactly, yeah. And I spend maybe 30 minutes a day doing online dating, and I'm hooking up with 2 to 3 girls a week.
Wow, and that's true because I've seen everything. So it's
Post this.
it's so you feel like the online dating allows you to control the narrative, control the environment a lot more. You have more control overall.
Oh yeah, and also you're dealing with more high interest girls, right? So I know that's something that you talk a lot about, Austin, and I would say you can do any interaction. You can view any interaction in 3 phases, right? Phase one is meeting and establishing value, right? And like she doesn't know who you are. Like why would she be interested in you if she doesn't know who you are? Um, and phase two is okay, like she's already interested. There's already that level of rapport. And phase three is when you're smashing, right? Back at your place and smashing, right? It's, so with online dating, when a girl agrees to meet up with you, you're already skipping phase one essentially. So when you're on the date, there's already a rapport. Like she could have done absolutely anything that she wanted to do. She could, especially in a big capital city like Argentina, there is so much to do. Um, and the fact of the matter is that she chose to spend her time with you. So you don't need to worry about, oh, does she like me or not? Like that's the biggest thing a girl can do from an investment standpoint is come on a date with you, aside from sucking your dick. That is the most thing a girl can do to show that she's invested in you.
Okay. Okay. That's funny. So yeah, I would agree. The high interest is very mandatory. I've reached a point now where it's everything is inbound. I don't reach out anymore. I don't do any reaching out. And I think it's a volume thing and how much exposure, but we'll get into that later. So, as far as the platforms that you use, tell me between Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, which one is your favorite and why?
All right, so it's definitely it. Well, in the States, it would be Hinge because that's where the majority of the girls are. But in Thailand, I would find a lot of expats, and I can't date Western girls anymore. Even in Argentina, got a couple matches on Hinge, right? Got their numbers and all that shit, right? And one was an expat from Canada who spent a lot of time in Spain, and the other one was a girl from Texas. Man, I couldn't deal with their energy. I felt like such a level of negativity just over text. Like maybe it's in my head. I don't know what it is, but there was something
Real.
about it. They were texting me. I don't know if you relate to that, but I'm just like, nah, it's not the same. It's not the same.
It, it's very real. It's very real. So you say in the States you like Hinge, and I would say in Europe and the United States, or let's say Europe and maybe Canada as well. I think those are the only in Australia, Western countries, rich
Mm.
Western countries are the only ones that I think have Hinge. But I found that Bumble worked when it came to dating apps. I found Bumble worked best worldwide. But my favorite dating app is not actually a dating app; it's actually Instagram.
Mm. Yeah, and I'd love to hear more about that, and I'm sure the viewers would love to hear about that. And
Yes,
yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I'm gonna try using Instagram. I'm gonna try running some ads, and we'll see what happens. Just mostly for shits
yeah.
and giggles. I'm getting so many leads off of Tinder and Bumble. I don't even have time for the secret sauce, which we'll talk about later after this. But for me, Tinder is the best one for me. I would say that's where I'm getting the majority of my leads, and Bumble is a close second. But the good thing about Bumble is all the girls are high interest because that's the cool thing about Bumble is that for a girl to message you, yeah, getting a match isn't a big deal, but when she messages you, that's when she's interested. You know what I mean? Because they have to make the first move on Bumble.
I would agree, and also to add, with Instagram, the thing is there is no obligation for them to message, or there's no expectation for them to message you once they find your profile. So the reason I like Instagram the most, and I do use the other dating apps like you're saying, is because for somebody to message you, that is the highest interest because it's the equivalent of just being at a restaurant. A chick just walks up to you and starts complimenting you.
Oh, definitely.
Because there was no obligation for her to go to your DM and message you. Versus the dating app, like it's kind of expected. Like that's what we're on here for is to message to get a date. But Instagram, she could just be following. But the fact that she went to reach out, but that's another part of online dating as well. So your salt dating. Tell me about your salt dating. You said pros, basic bitches, and scammers.
Okay, so there's a guy in Brazil that's very known for sugar dating. Salt dating is the opposite of sugar dating, which is basically, the truth of the matter is there are all these sugar daddy websites that you don't necessarily have to use for sugaring. You can be a little salty. And what I mean is, again, this might be a bit unethical, but it involves pretending to be a millionaire on these websites. And the truth of the matter is there are three types of girls you will meet on those sites. The first one is the pro, right? This is the girl that's been on there for years and years and years. Usually, if she's on there for 2 or 3 years, I'm like, okay, this chick's a pro. And basically, this is the type of chick that definitely has had arrangements. She knows what she's doing. Then you have the scammer, which is the type of girl that just wants free dinners and that's it. So you stay away from those. And then you got the basic bitch, which is a girl that just joined. She's new. Her friend probably told her about it, but the majority of these girls, in my opinion, are basically the type of girls that have been ran through on Tinder. They've been ran through on Bumble, and basically they just want. They're like, you know what? If I'm already gonna be hooking up with someone, I may as well date a rich guy that'll take me to dinners and stuff. That's their logic, more or less. So those are the
So
type
you
of girls that we're going after.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So somebody in the comments said "fake it till you make it." Would you say it's like that? It's a fake it till you make it type of situation?
In what aspect? Assault dating?
Yeah, I think it's just taking advantage of the fact of money hungry women.
No, dude. A lot of these girls don't even ask for money. That's the funny part. They don't even
Yeah.
ask for money. Like I was talking to this girl. Rather, I went on a date with this girl while I was here. This was the only one I went on from seeking. Basically, what happened was when I was in Poland, I wasn't getting enough leads from Tinder and Bumble at one point. So this was it's when you start, and here's the thing: when you get to a new city, you should be getting matches like 5 to 7 days before you get there because it's like a snowball effect, right? So there were a couple of days for the first couple of days, it was very dry in Poland. So I'm like, you know what, let me try seeking just to supplement my leads. And I paid for a month. And by the time I got to Argentina, I had a couple of days left in my month. So I'm like, oh, let me see let me see what type of clientele there is, right? So I went on a date with a girl, and basically I told her right away, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be giving you any money whatsoever. Especially in South America, I don't want to lie because you don't know who these girls know. You know what I mean? When you're in
I would
countries
agree.
like this, you want to play it more honestly, where the only thing you're lying about is your net worth. That's it. Um, but at the same time, I basically said something along the lines of, look, I'm not going to give you an allowance. I'm not going to give you any money. I think it's fucking weird that, I'm 28 years old, everything works. My balls don't sag to the floor. I can get it up no problem. Nothing's deformed or anything like that. I'm good. I'm a very good looking guy, as you can see. Yes, I'm successful. But at the same time, I'm just working on so many projects right now, and traditional dating is really annoying. I really don't have the time to deal with Tinder, the Bumbles, and all that stuff. So, I definitely want a girl that I can, travel with. I want a girl that I can explore Buenos Aires with. I want to go to nice restaurants and all that stuff, which is true. I love going to steakhouses, to barbecue places. That's what I consider a nice place. So I'm like, yeah, I've no, genuinely speaking, I have no problem bringing a girl with me and just, having drinks and maybe paying like 20-30 bucks for her to get some food. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? That's not the same thing as tricking. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But at the
So
same time, that's basically what I'm doing, and you're basically treating it like Tinder and like any chick off Bumble.
okay, okay. So what's important for this to work is, if you ask me, the most important part, because I didn't figure this out until like February. Now I got it. Now I'm undefeated now. The profile, the
Mhm.
photos, the bio, anything in between Instagram. Instagram, it gets way more complex because there's way more things that play in
Oh yeah.
Instagram. But dating apps, it's like here's my photos, here's my bio, which I don't have shit in my bio, but here's my bio, here's my photos.
Mhm.
And the photos by themselves are a like that's a skill you had to learn, because I dating apps didn't work for me at all. And I met Jason in Paraguay, and he's like, there's no way, you should be doing way better than me. You should be doing way better than me. Like, he's like, you're in shape, whoop to whoop, all that stuff. And he looked at my photos, he's like, oh, just zoom in. Literally overnight, my results were different in the same city because I zoomed in on my photos.
Yeah.
But that was all. But that was just one aspect.
Well, there's other aspects, right? So number one, if you're not getting the success that you're getting on online dating apps, number one, the most common thing is you're probably not subscribed to the pro version of the apps, right? So at the end of the day, all these apps, right? They're a business at the end of the day, right? And the way they operate is by getting recurring revenue from guys. You know what I mean? Because girls aren't going to pay for Tinder Plus. They're not going to pay for Tinder Premium or whatever the fuck it's called. By having the premium version of the app, they want your money. They want your money. They want you to keep giving them money. So they're going to keep putting you in front of more girls. And if your photos are on point, your bio is on point, and you know how to have a conversation and how to move things forward, then you're going to have a great time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you are hilarious, man. So yeah, I would agree. The pro version is absolutely necessary because if you're not, as a man, and I think as a woman, they live life on easy mode when it comes to dating. But if you do not pay for the pro version, they put your ass on the back burner. Like, okay, you know what?
Oh,
You think you can get it for free? We'll put you at the end of the line. The guys that are paying
maybe
30,
if
40,
you're a
50,
Chad,
60.
maybe if
Huh?
you're a Chad, maybe if you're a Chad, maybe if you're if you look like a famous person like Brad Pitt, you know what I mean? Like if you're Jack, maybe you'll have better luck. But for guys like me that are average, yeah, no chance. It's truth. Maybe Hinge you could
Yeah.
get decent results, but not with Tinder or Bumble.
So overall, I see next playing to your strengths. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, so if you're jacked, show off your muscles. Like me, like I'm gonna be real with you guys because I see comments. I see the comments, right? I see the trolls. Look, I'm not jacked. Got a little stomach right here, right? Like got a little bit of a stomach. So I probably should not be posing shirtless. However, what you guys don't do is you don't play guitar. So I'm always posing with the guitar. I got a couple pictures of me with the guitar. I have a picture of me on stage with. I'll show you guys my photos. I'll show you guys my photos because this is what I mean by playing to your strength, right? Oh, nice. New message. All right. So right off the bat, you want to have a good shot like this, right? That it's a
Absolutely.
clear shot, right? It's a clear shot of your face. It's a clear shot of your body. Then you want to have a social proof shot, right? So this is my social proof shot, right? This is me on stage with the Goo Goo Dolls. I got pulled up on stage to play guitar, and at the end, he gave me the mic and a professional photographer. I think it was someone that was taking pics for them that night. She sent me this, so it was a
That's
really
the
good shot.
ultimate photo.
Huh? Yeah, that
That's
is
the
a
ultimate.
really good photo. This photo has gotten me laid so many times. It's not even funny. Like if a girl says, "Is that you on stage with the Goo Goo Dolls?" I'm like, "Yeah." Me walking a dog. This is something that my cousin took of her. Me walking her Labradoodle. I'm like, "Yeah, let's get something for my Tinder." Um, Me on stage with a guitar. This is a professional
So
picture as
they're
well.
learning about you through these photos. Like, okay, he
Yeah.
likes to walk dogs. He knows how to dress. He eats at nice restaurants. He likes guitar. He respects people. He likes to travel and see animals. They're learning about you, and they can relate to you as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they're literally messaging me things like, "Oh, wow, you seem so awesome." Like when I tell girls, "Yeah, I've traveled to all these places," this is something that they're excited about. Like I remember I was on my flight. I told you the story. I think I posted this in the group, but I was flying back from Rome to Argentina. I took a direct flight, and right next to me there was this really cute girl next to me, and we were talking. And within before we even left, like she was giving me very high interest signals. Right, basically, I was telling her, "Yeah, I lived in this place. I lived in Japan for a bit. I lived in Thailand. I was only in Japan for 2 weeks, but I still said I lived there. You know what I mean?" I've been in Vietnam, Poland, and Italy for the last. I've been doing this is where I've been in the last 6 months, and she was so interested. And about an hour into the flight, we were making out, and throughout the entire flight, we were making out, and I was fingering her as well. So it was a really good time. I would have tried to join the Mile High Club, but I didn't feel like getting kicked out of Argentina. So if this was a flight to America, I wouldn't have given a fuck. I would have done it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, let me ask you this about the profile photos as well. So tell me, what are some bad photos? Like, because I've had bad photos, but give me a few examples of photos that should not be on there.
Okay, so really bad selfies. Really bad selfies. Like something like this. Like let me So something like this, the selfie I just took just now. This should not be a picture on your profile. This should not be a picture at all. Poorly lit photos, self-explanatory. Anything that falls into like, if you look at this, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like you have pictures like that in your phone that are funny, but at the same time, like if you have to explain it to somebody, you probably shouldn't post it. Something where you're trying to show off, like you're showing off material possessions, right? So it could be some guys posing with money, like taking out a couple, like $1,000 in cash and being like, ooh, look at me. Or posing in front of their car. Like that's something you should not do. Also, like some of these, another example is like some good photos, basically them trying to do good photos, but them failing at it. You know what I mean? Like pictures with girls. Like if it's obvious that, you know, you're basically like got a bunch of girls like, hey, come on, let's take a picture. And then it looks super awkward. That's something that you should not post. Like I'll give you an example. I about like 10 years ago, I was on a boat party and I was talking to these girls. I'm like, hey, you know what would be a funny picture? Because I was wearing a sash that said birthday bitch. And I'm like, you know what'd be funny if we took a photo of me laying across all you guys. That's a funny picture for me. You know what I mean? But I would not post it on the internet. I would not post it on a dating app because that would not get a good response.
You get judged off your worst photo. You can have 6 photos, and if 6 of them are good, but 1 is bad, it fucks up the whole flow. And now it's like they won't even look at you to say it. It really is hard for men to use. Like the amount of stuff that we have to take into consideration is ridiculous. But it is possible because we're doing it. You know, we're not the only ones doing it, but the majority of people don't understand how many things work against them or just how to properly do this anyway.
In the States, my experience was girls are looking for ways to disqualify you. Here, it's not that bad. Like I don't really get that vibe, but in the States, yeah, you really got to be running a tight ship.
Yeah, you can fuck up in a way that you never thought you could fuck up in the States. Like you said, they go into it looking for something wrong with you.
Yeah,
rather than just looking to figure out who the hell you are. So yeah, it's everywhere else in the world I've been. You know, if I met a chick that was interested, like she wanted to know what my fucking favorite color was. An American chick is trying to figure out if you're fucking gay or not. Like, what the fuck?
Or how much you got in your bank?
Accuse me of being gay on a date. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Get the fuck out of here. That happened?
I had that happen one time. This chick tried to make it seem like she literally went on a campaign for like 15 minutes. I couldn't believe it. Like, she's asking me, had I ever slept with a man? And I'm like, the fuck are you, like, what? I asked her, do I look gay or something? Like, well, what made you ask that? I'm just checking. I said, but why the hell did you feel the need to, have you ever had an abortion? Like, you know, I mean, what? That's just some random shit that, you know, like, why would she ask me that? So I'm gonna tell you, outside the I think outside the United States, the only other time I've heard that was somebody I met from South Africa, and but South Africa is supposed to be a little woke as well, so it makes sense hearing that from there. But yeah, most other countries, it's exactly the way how it's supposed to be. But we're getting a little off topic there. We can go on a rant about that shit.
Oh, definitely.
So you recommend doing photo shoots, group shots? What about What about editing? I'm really big on editing photos.
FaceApp. FaceApp is literally the quickest way to do it. You can do it in 2 seconds. If you go on FaceApp, for example, let me pull up a picture. Let me look at my favorites. Okay. So you have so this is one of my photos, right? Right over here, you have all these filters, right? You have if you click on impressions, you have all of these options over here.
Okay.
And basically this is basically like it basically AIs your photos. You can also give yourself a sharper chin. You could give yourself better cheekbones, dimples, all that stuff, thinner eyebrows. So you could really have you could fuck around with a smile even.
Yeah, yeah. Face app is really good for that to make sure because the thing is sometimes the photos don't even get how good you really look, and that app will
Mhm.
make it look like okay, shit, that is what I see when I look in the mirror. I've looked at myself in person. I'm like, yeah, I look good. Somebody need to take a picture of me. And I look at the photo. I'm like, yo, I don't look. I know I look better than that. But Face app, even Photoshop, for editing the background and turning up the saturation, all that stuff. All that stuff is very important. I'm telling you, that changes your photography altogether.
You definitely want to be presenting the best version of yourself that you can present. That's important because these girls don't know you. They don't know who you are. So they're not going to give you the photos is the first thing that they see. That's the first thing that they see of you, and they make that split second decision. If yes, I'm going to swipe right, or no, no, thank you, I'm going to swipe left.
So, what is your formula for the bio?
You want a quick blurb. Just basically some like it could be something really witty. Just like one or two sentences. Then you want to put strengths and weaknesses, right? So I'll tell you mine as an example. Um, Basically, what I'll say is I just moved to Buenos Aires. That's something that you could always highlight. I just moved to this city from this city. Um, Another thing I'll say is I'm a CEO of a company. Um,
Mhm.
Strengths: grilling a steak, planning trips, writing catchy pop rock songs, and weaknesses: accents and curvy girls. That's about as sexual as I want to get because I don't have the personality to pull that off. I give off very goofy vibes. I think someone called me Kevin James in the comments. So I give off very goofy vibes. So getting too sexual is just not going to work for me. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. So it's about playing to your strengths, right? So with my MO is to basically get their number and then message them and schedule the date and then do my business on the date. That's it.
I wonder what do people think about me then, because everybody says I come off very serious. So if I say something sexual, I guess maybe they take it like to heart. That's also the reason why I'm very sarcastic because I know people take me serious. So I don't know. I'm had to think about that. So yeah, but you don't want to get too sexual in your bio, yes, because then it
Oh
will
yeah. Like
it'll
on my on Seeking, I remember I used for weaknesses I used to say something like accents and big boobs or something like that, and I would get messages like, "Oh, my boobs aren't big enough, but I really liked your profile." I used to get several messages like that. I remember this one girl. Me and her were
that's
trying
high
to have a
end.
yeah, that is really high. That is as high interest as you can get. So me and this chick were trying to have a threesome, and we were messaging girls on Seeking, right? And basically, what happened was the girl that we ended up choosing. I think she messaged me first, saying, "Oh, I don't have big boobs, by the way, but I'm still interested."
Damn.
So
Okay.
that's so yeah, like and then like I tried doing that again recently. That's where I'm trying to go with this. And yeah, they basically blocked my profile and then told me to remove it. And then I did. And so I can't really say that anymore. So yeah, you don't want to raise any red flags now.
So
This is what
speaking of what you say, messaging, texting, opening lines, even if we're talking like day game in person, but today we're talking online.
yeah.
But texting, let's say, that is an art by itself, and it's really easy to fuck up, and it's really, in my opinion, it's really easy to see who's interested and who's not with what you say. So give everybody an example of what your first message is.
So it's easy to fuck up if you don't know what you're doing. It's easy to with anything in life. It's easy to fuck up if you don't know what you're doing. That's the biggest thing. If you have a system that works that you don't really deviate from unless you have to, you'll be fine. So you need to say something that will grab their attention. You basically want to say something like, I know Casey's one of the lines that Casey gave away is something along the lines of, wow, I think me and you have two, I really like your profile. You have two things that I think we have two things that we, I think there are two things that we have in common or something like that. But mine is, can I be honest? That's mine. And then that gets them to want to respond. They're like, what are you being on? What do you want to be honest about? Don't insult me, please, or something like that.
That's a really good line. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. So I'm more direct in general, in person. Well, let's say when initially when I meet someone, whether if it's in person or through text, uh, what would you call your type of game? If I'm more direct, what would you call yours?
Oh, I'm very direct. I'm super direct about my intentions. There's a really good book that, and it's something that I recommend everyone read. It's called Mode One by Alan Roger Curry. And it basically talks about being honest about your intentions, because when you're honest about your intentions, it's really hard to get your heart broken. Your ego might get bruised. Yes, that happens, but you don't really walk away angry from it. Like, I think about my two worst heartbreaks that I've ever had in my entire life. The first one was this one girl who I met on the train after a Shinedown concert. She had a boyfriend and I was trying to pull a robbery, and we were flirting for a really long time. Put it to this way: if I was her boyfriend and I saw some of the texts that she was sending me, I would have dumped her on the spot. Put it to this way: it got really bad. And then she kind of pulled the rug from under my feet, and that really fucked me up for a very long time. Um, so yeah, that was something that really affected me negatively. And then there was another one. This was one of the last girl. This was about a year ago. I was in Chicago on a seeking rampage, and I met this really hot chick. And I lusted a little too hard. Happens. But that was a one that really stood out in my mind. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna be honest about my intentions from now on. Because when I'm honest about my intentions, I've never really gotten heartbroken.
Honesty goes a long way, man. It goes a long way. I started getting more successful in this area whenever I started being just blunt and honest about shit.
Mhm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, like you should say, "Yeah, I want to fuck the shit out of you" off the first message. Like, be calibrated. But I'm talking about that as a whole, just as a way of being. Just be direct about your intentions.
yeah, yeah, no beating around the bush. So, what is your goal whenever you're reaching out through text? What is your goal
Um, on the app or off the app.
on the app? We know about off the app, but on the app,
It's just to get the number, man. The goal is to get the number. I don't want to have a long conversation with her, because you're competing with so many other dudes, and that's their strategy. They're too scared to ask for the number. They don't know how to ask for the number, and they just, maybe spend a couple days flirting, a couple days talking. Like, a lot of guys also, excuse me, I remember I'm not sure if I put this in the video, but if you guys look at my recent video where I was talking to this girl, yeah, I don't think we talked about that on the video. But I have a video on my channel where I was interviewing a girl. Me and this girl were, before I started filming, we were talking about just, the whole online dating experience for girls. And she was telling me how guys just always end up saying the same thing, like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?" It's boring. It's the same boring conversation. So you want to stand out from all these guys in a good way, not in a bad way. So yeah,
I
that's
would
the goal,
agree.
is to get the number and move it off the app. That's the goal.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, usually whenever you're messaging, that it should take 4 or 5 messages and then go to the next platform. I would agree. We spoke about that as well. So when you get her number, because this is where, like, you just brought this up, where you said I used to do this. I think we've all been on a loser status, or we've done some loser shit before we
Yeah.
got to the point where we're at now. Like, for example, you brought up about how they flirt for days. I remember when I was like 19, 20. I think high school might put you in that mind frame, because
Oh
you
yeah.
had to sneak. You had to sneak. So you got a chick's number. You probably weren't going to see her for a month. You weren't going to go on a date because she had to sneak, ask her parents, all that kind of shit. But now that we're adults, if I want to see you, we can see each other right now. And they have the same scenario for the most part. So if you get their number and you start texting away like you're writing a fucking poem, uh, some other guy's gonna be taking her out, because I don't think she wants to read Mozart or no shit. Like, she doesn't want to do that. So what should you do once you get the number?
First thing you should do is ask, are you free? You have to know what your schedule is, right? So, for example, let's say get a chick's number right now. Actually, I just got a girl's number, so I need to text her. So I'm gonna do that right now. You're literally about to see this live. Let me add her on WhatsApp. Lourdes Bumble. All right. All right. So I'm gonna say, hey, it's Kevin from Bumble. Free for a date tomorrow or Friday. That's it.
That sounds about right. Straight to the point. No bullshit in between.
Let me add her to the spreadsheet while we're at it so I don't forget. You gotta have a CRM.
Yeah, I think that is hilarious that you have a spreadsheet. But it is effective. It is effective. I probably need to start doing that. So you have a script, like you said.
You're right. Tomorrow is Friday, so tomorrow or Saturday.
So what about sexting?
Ooh, it's high risk, high reward. So have I been in situations where, I sent a girl a picture of my dick, and let's just say I'm average everywhere else, but below the belt, God really took his time. Let's just leave it at that. So girls are usually very impressed, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can sext, you get the pics, right? Maybe you send each other some videos, right? We don't need to get into all the details here. We don't need to get into all the nitty and gritty, right? But there have been times where it worked out well. We sexted, and then the next day or the day after we met up and we smashed, right? But there have also been just as many times where you do that and then the girl flakes because girls don't want to feel slutty about hooking up with you, right? They want it to be like, oh, we went on a date, we went to a cafe, we went to a bar. He was very charming. He was really funny. He invited me back to his place to show me something. I showed them my guitars. I play them a song. I talk about some of the music that I've written. Like, yeah, I'd love to play it for you. Oh, yeah. What kind of music do you like? Any artist. Oh, yeah, I like Shawn Mendes. Oh, my God. I have a song that sounds just like Shawn Mendes. You're going to love it. And then we go back to my place, and then we start making out, and one thing leads to another. That's basically the story that she wants to tell herself. She doesn't want to go into a date basically being like, oh, yeah, me and him are going to fuck. Some girls are cool with doing that, but those same girls would have definitely hooked up with you had you played it the safer way. So you're all at the end of the day, you're going to be losing a lot of leads just by doing that. Now, let's say situations where you might want to sex is, let's say you have two potential girls that you want to meet at 7 p.m. that night, and you basically want to see who's more DTF. That's a quick way of finding out. So yeah, it's a strategy you could use. I almost did that the other day, but then she ended up coming over. So again, if you're horny, go watch some porn, maybe use the wank bank, but it's very high risk, high reward, sexting in general.
Okay, that's very good.
I'm not saying I haven't fallen into that trap. It's gonna happen.
Well, what about dealing with flakes? How do you deal with flakes that you meet online?
Oh, dude, look, I know half the chat doesn't believe me, but you see the type of receipts that I post in the group chat. Actually, I can show the video of me playing "We Will Rock You" on this chick's ass. Let me show that real quick. This is the type of degenerate shit I'm doing, guys. Let me show you. Where's my videos? That's it. Okay.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. We will rock you. We will rock you. ¿Sabes esta canción?
Wow.
So yeah, that's the type of shit I do. So if a chick flakes, number one, I don't care. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm just gonna relax. Like today, for example, this girl is not responding. I was scheduled a date for after this this stream, and this chick is being really flaky. I don't know why. Happens sometimes. So I have a bunch of work I got to do. I got a video coming out where I talk tomorrow, which today actually is my 6-month anniversary of being a passport bro. And I literally started my journey on February 22nd of this year. So I shot a video, talking about some of the things I learned. I need to edit this video. I might take myself out for dinner. I'm really craving some ribs. So if she flakes, I don't care. I got a bunch of other shit to do. But yeah, you could also schedule backups. I did that when I was in Poland. I did that my first couple of days here, but then, the flake rate wasn't that high for me. I definitely had a couple of days last week where like 2 days in a row, the chick flaked or something like that, or I scheduled 2 dates for one day and both of them flaked or something like that. Things happen. There's, things like variance, right? Let's say, for example, things can be going well, and then, another couple of days later, you might be dry. It is what it is, and then it'll bounce right back up. So there's variance at play too.
Yeah, I think having just an interesting life, like which is what I'm getting from what you're saying, having an interesting life. Like if for example, I'm hanging out with somebody right now. If she didn't come over, I had to do this. If I didn't have to do this, I would be at the club like I was yesterday with my friends right now. So I have or I would just go to sleep because I went to the gym. I have, like you said, I'm exhausted. I have other shit to do. Flake shouldn't really, as long as your life does not revolve around women, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And also don't put your self-esteem around women either. Like at the end of the day, the truth is some girls are just fucking dumb. That's the honest truth of it. Part of the reason why she flaked is because she's dumb. That's the honest truth of it. Like, do you really want to spend, like, at the end of the day, like, this girl hasn't texted me. I don't care. Like, do I really want to spend time with this person if they don't respect my time? Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean?
I would agree. I would agree.
That's the biggest turn off. I get it. Things happen sometimes. There have been situations. I've had emergencies. I've had something that's come up where I'm like, okay, yeah, can we reschedule, please? Things happen. That's okay. I'm understanding. But for you just to go ghost, that's not cool. And that's a turn off.
Yeah, it's an immediate sign of low interest, which I don't deal with medium or low interest. High interest is the only way to go. I don't really invest too much of my time trying to raise interest. So let's talk about genuine connections. We're not paid for Playboy, so let's talk about genuine connections.
Yes.
Talk about some things that.
Hold on one second. I like the new nickname in the chat, Kitty Kevin. That's that's funny.
So, talk about some things that you give a fuck about, and also talk about why not.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Let's talk about building genuine connections. How do you build genuine connections?
So the first thing is you got to talk about things that you actually care about, right? It starts with you. It starts with the energy that you give off. So think about when you were back in school, right? Personally, I fucking hated school for the most part. I hated, specifically, I did not like the teachers that did not give a fuck. You know what I mean? They just basically were very dry. They taught out of the book. There was clearly no passion. And I remember I had this chemistry teacher in 11th grade that was just so passionate. Literally, like it was almost like she drank like 10 cups of coffee, and the energy was fucking intense. And I cared about the class because she cared about it. So it's the same concept here. You got to be talking about things that you give a fuck about. For me, it's traveling. For me, it's music. For me, it's, my relationships with my friends. So I'm talking about that and I'm telling girls that, but I'm also relating it to her as well. I'm connecting it to her as well. So, for example,
Right.
I was on a date with this really cute Colombian girl 2 days ago. We had a really good connection. And one of the things that, so she moved from Bogota to Buenos Aires. And I asked her why. And she said, oh, because she's really close to her family and a bunch of people from her family moved to Buenos Aires. So she wanted to be with them. And I told her that I really connected with that. I was being very vulnerable here where I told her, listen, like I really connect with that because, that is something that I really wish I had with my family because, my family isn't, there's a big age gap between me and my sisters, massive age gap. So it's really hard for me to connect with them. And also I have a sister that's my age who's autistic. So, I can't really have a relationship with her. It's a very limited relationship. So my biggest dream and something that I wish I could change about my life, for example, is the fact that, I wish I had a younger brother that I could, mentor that was like 2-3 years younger than me. And, me and him could travel the world and just, be degenerates together. That would be awesome. I would love that. And I mean, I would love to have that kind of a relationship. And it's something I wish I had. Obviously, I didn't say it that way. I said it in a much more relatable way, but she really connected to that, and that brought us closer. And it's something I genuinely do like in girls that are very family oriented. It's a trait that I really like because that's important to me.
Okay. So how do you escalate sexualizing the date? How do you escalate? I mean, I know how to do it. It's pretty easy, but some people really don't know how to make that move. And at one point, I didn't either because I was like, oh, if I say this, I might run her off and she might get turned off. And really, that's usually not the case.
So I have a line that I use here, right? So first off, you want to think of it as a ladder. You want to gradually go up that ladder, right? So for example, something I'll always say is I'll make that's what she said kind of jokes. Like I'll find ways to like sexualize the conversation a little bit. Like I call it PG-13 humor, stuff that you would get a laugh track on a show like Two and a Half Men, comments like that, right? Then I'll usually say something along the lines of, I've traveled all over the world, and I gotta say, I can't. I definitely like Latin girls the most out of all of them. What's she gonna say to that? Why? So I'll say something along the lines of, I started out in Asia and I dated some Asian girls, and I'm not really into Asian girls because I'm not into girls with like flat chested and that are flat chested and have a flat ass. It's not something I like because, I like during doggy style, I need a nice ass. And then I went to Eastern Europe and let's just say the girls were a little too conservative for me. Now, I don't need a blowjob on the first date. I don't need that. But if I hold your hand after talking to you for an hour, and at the same time, I'm also holding her hand across the table, and they're very like open about that. So like I'll like play with her hand a bit, like go like that, right? And then like pull. I'm not gonna have my hand on her the entire time, but I'll like do it for like 10-15 seconds, then pull my hand away just so I can break that physical contact barrier. So then like some girls will like be like, oh my god, like that's moving too fast, and that's a little too much for me. That is a little too much for me. But when it comes to Latin girls, I find them to be the prettiest and also very open sexually, and I think that's awesome. Like I dated
They
Latin
are.
girls. I always had the best relationships with them. So that's the type of things I'd say to them. Sometimes it's things have gotten really sexual where we're talking about threesomes and all that stuff. It depends on the chick. But yeah, that's usually as sexual as I'll get. Sometimes I'll say something along the lines of, it would be so hot if me and you hooked up. Like I think me and you would have really good sexual chemistry. What do you think? But that's after we've built things up a bit. And then like I said that with that girl that if you see on my channel, my previous video, that's something I said to her on the date, funny enough, because, we were talking about sex. So I'd ask her what kind of things she likes sexually. And then I said something along the lines of, yeah, I think we'd really have a good time. I think we'd really get along well when it comes to sex. What do you think? And she was like, yeah. And she was shocked because no guys ever talked to her like that.
That shit was hilarious. Okay, yeah, I think one way how I do that is I do what you're saying as well. Like I definitely throw hints because if you don't throw hints, you get friend zone, and then she's gonna you. I mean, honestly, to be blunt, you have to let them know that you want to fuck. Like if you don't do that, you're not fucking. I guarantee you won't. Second, I'm a big physical guy. Like you said about holding hands. When I go on dates, we don't sit across from each other. We either sit next to each other or we sit at a 90-degree. I don't know what you would perpendicular. Perpendicular is the word,
Yeah.
right? We sit like that. And I learned that because when I was going on dates and I would sit directly across, I'd be like, why the hell am I nervous? And then I was like, oh, you know what? This is just like an interrogation or an interview. So I was like, you know what? Let me sit next to them. And it instantly my confidence would go up because it was just, I don't know. So
I think it's all in your head because I'm sitting face to face and I'm having more than fun. I'm more than
well,
I'm
yeah,
more-
it could be fun, but it gets worse whenever the chick is like some chicks don't have conversation. So then you put them in this interrogation type of position right for across from you, and it's just like now I had to tell this chick when I was in Turkey. I told her I was like, yeah, if we keep sitting like this, I'm not gonna like you. Like I'm starting to not like you. So we sat like this, and it was like that. I was like, oh, you know what? You're not actually that bad. You're pretty cool. But the good thing is, whenever we're sitting next to each other like this in a perpendicular angle, I can make that first move. Now I can rub your leg. And then now if I want to kiss, everything comes a lot easier because it's just quicker. It's like when you're trying to sell somebody something, you don't want them to think about that shit for too long. So if you want to make a move and she's across from you, like, hey, come over here so I can kiss you real quick. Or let me come over there. Versus if you could just lean right over, you could be holding their hand. I'm very big on the position.
So I've done shit. Like again, this is a high risk, high reward move where I did this when I was in Poland. So let's say she's sitting on the opposite side. What I'll do is I'll like turn the camera around, right? I'll walk over to her and just like grab her and just like start making out with her like that. You know what I mean? Like I've done shit like that. And I'm gonna use this as a segue to get some water. But yeah, I've done shit like that. But yeah, like stuff like that doesn't really concern me that much. Like for me, I'm usually escalating when I'm at my house. You know what I mean? I think I went on one of my last dates about fucking in public or something. I forget how that happened, but I know it definitely happened. So I'm always just kind of like going with the flow, basically.
Wow. Okay. So
that would be cool. I think people would like that.
You should do what?
I should do some infield. I think people would like that.
They would.
What do you guys think in the chat?
People loved it. And by what he's saying by infield is like he's showing you in real time what's going on. Like you're recording a date type of thing, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
it would be on camera, but
let's talk about something that a lot of men, especially American men, we don't know how to avoid. We can't identify them, and we travel to another country, and we still don't identify them, so we can get the worst women of a society because we don't identify red flags, time wasters. You might want to move your head a little bit because that light is kind of yeah, right there. So how do you identify red flag? How do you identify those red flags and avoid time wasting women?
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm always going to start off with that text that I just sent, right? About like 10, 15 minutes ago, which was, hey, it's Kevin from this app. Are you free for a date day 1 or day 2? That's the first thing I'm going to be doing. And that's going to take away a lot of the flake rate. Then if she starts going silent, I'm not going to abandon right away because there have been times where I got busy with other girls, probably not for the reasons that she has, but I'm busy. Maybe I'm working on other stuff. And I just forget to respond. Maybe I get a little burnt out and I just forget and then want to re-engage. So I usually hit them with a question mark first. Let's say they go silent, right? Or better yet, sometimes here's another example. If I ask that question, they'll be like, hey, how's it going? And won't respond to that. When are you free to meet up? So at that point, what that tells me is, hey, I need more time. I want to talk to you a little more. So I'll exchange 2, 3 more messages. And then from there, what I'll do is I'll be like, hey, so what about this? Why do you keep avoiding this question? And then, like, even the girl I went on a date with the other day, the Colombian chick, she basically did the same thing. And I was like, listen, she's like, oh, I just don't know you well. I think it's too early. I'm like, isn't that the point of a date, just to get to know each other? And then she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, okay, so when are you free? Oh, I'm free tomorrow. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's meet tomorrow. But then what I'll do, let's say it's later on in the interaction, what I'll do is I'll hit them with a question mark. And this works on the apps as well. And then you can say something like, why are you ignoring me? And then you can do, and I think I saw you yesterday.
I saw you yesterday is a good one.
Mhm.
That is
Yesterday, yeah. And then when she says where? Because that's one that gets them to respond. I'll say something along the lines of, oh, I was at this restaurant. Maybe it was you or your doppelganger. Haha. Anyway, then move on to the next thread.
So the next point is about time wasters. One thing that Casey brought up that was very true. Most of your problems with women, most of your dating problems can be solved just by meeting more women. You're getting a lot of flakes where you need more volume. You're getting a lot of bullshitters.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw more volume in there, somebody's going to give you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You are meeting a lot of masculine women. We'll go meet some more women. There's somebody out there that's going to be at you. Volume is a big thing. So, but to touch on that even further, how can you avoid the ones that you do have that are time wasters?
It's just, again, it's just running volume. That's it. Oh, you always want to be getting a steady flow of new leads in. So what I'll do, for example, once or twice a week, I'll run a boost, and then that'll get me a little pop. Worst case scenario, I can go re-sign up for SA and just get some more leads that way. For me, it's like it's a bit of a pain in the ass, that site, because you're screening through a lot of garbage, but it's never really let me down. So the problem is I'm just getting so many leads from Tinder and Bumble that I just don't have time for it. And it's pretty expensive. That site, it's like between $80 to $100 a month.
Yes,
so
yeah.
It's worth it. You'll get some good leads from it, but at the same time, it's not the best quality in here. And that's on Tinder and Bumble, you'll get better quality internally.
Wow, I would agree. Okay, so leveraging your social proof, which is something that I do every day in your digital footprint. How important is that?
So our answers are definitely going to be a lot different because our strategies are different, right? So my strategy does not involve social media at all. With me, I would see there would be a lot of red flags on my social media because, number one, I post my receipts on Instagram because I'm building my brand right now. Yeah, there's a workaround. I could make a new Instagram, but the truth is I don't have time to manage a new Instagram. I'm getting so many leads that are 7s and aboves that for me, like from a cost benefit analysis perspective, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm doing 30 to 40 minutes of work regarding online dating a day, maybe even less. On some days, maybe I'll do an hour and a half. These are days when I'm doing a bunch of boosts. And I'm just trying to get an influx of new leads in. But other than that, like, I just don't see the point. I'll try what you're doing just, out of curiosity, and maybe it'll change, right? Like, you always want, in general, you want to be doing QA on your life, on all your beliefs, on all the things, that you do on the day-to-day basis, because, hey, it might be better later. You might find an improvement, and that's a good thing. That is a really good thing. But yeah, I would not, as of now, one more thing. As of right now, I would not be putting my social media on there because I don't want to cause any more problems.
Yeah, when it comes to dating apps, so I don't really think we're different when it comes to this. When it comes to dating apps, I don't recommend putting your Instagram on there either, unless if it's perfect. Like, that shit has to correlate so good with your, like, because again, if you're in the States, I mean, you're going to be disqualified, it seems like, just off the rip. But even in other countries, they do that as well. And especially if you're a guy like one of us, the two of us can be disqualified easily once they start seeing this type of content. So
Dude, I had a girl off of Hinge back in Thailand. She was like a chick from the States. She found my Instagram and my YouTube channel. She's like, I have some questions about your YouTube channel. And I was just like,
would you
oh shit. So again, it's something that I don't want to explain. Something that I don't want to explain. If I don't have to.
Casey had recommended when I first met him, and No Reservations, and a few people have recommended. Like, I make 2 Instagrams, and I'm like you, I don't have time for this shit because number one, now I'm in this mindset of I have to hide what I'm doing. So at this point, I'm just like, look, here's my Instagram. They can find my YouTube. They can find it. Either you fuck with me or you don't. And apparently, it's not as much of a problem as I thought. It's and a lot of women have to understand that this is a business as well. Like, I have to present this stuff to people so they can learn how, because we get that. But for you guys, do not put your Instagram in your Tinder.
Don't do it.
So
it's not worth it.
Let's talk about success stories.
Okay.
Told me that you had a 5-girl and 5-day rampage in Chicago.
Man, that was a good story. So this was back in 2022, January of 2022. My best friend Felix, shout out to Felix if you're watching. I made a video about a week ago, and I name dropped you. And he's like, "Why didn't you name drop me in that video?" And he got a little pissed about that. So I was like, you know what? I'll name drop Felix. So I was hanging out with my buddy Felix. He flew me out to help him out with the Seeking stuff. I got there on Tuesday night. Wednesday, I smashed 2 girls in one day. The first one was this cute Latina. And she won, and I was trying to get her to leave to get the second one to come over. So I started talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero because she told me that she was working for a Democrat senator at one point. So I was like, you know what? Let me rile her up a bit to get her out. So second one comes over, I smash her, and then I nutted all over her face, and she ended up breaking out and going to the hospital because she was allergic to my jizz. Wow. Thursday, smash this other chick, right? I didn't like her because she didn't top me off. She just wanted me to smash, but wouldn't top me off. I fucking hate girls like that. I think that's the worst quality to have as a woman, not suck dick. And then Friday, I had a threesome with the girl that I sent to the hospital and the stripper that we met off the site as well. And then Saturday, I smashed this really hot blonde chick. And I took a video of her topping me off while lip syncing Something in Your Mouth by Nickelback.
Wow. Okay, you said you nutted all on her face. That's hilarious. So you guys put a 1 in the chat if you guys found that very informative and you learned something today. Let's see how many people did it, which I know a lot of y'all, but everybody better put a 1 in the chat because I know y'all didn't know this stuff today. Because at one point I didn't know a lot of this stuff. Actually, that wasn't too long ago either.
How much did I pay? Nothing, just for an Uber.
Just for an Uber, and that's all it costs. So
yeah,
let's talk about this. So do you have any way that if somebody wants to know more and they want to talk to us daily, where can they go?
So it's great that you brought that up, Austin. I'm sorry, that comment battery made me laugh. Okay, so so me and Austin just started a school community. And the reason why we partnered up is because we want to give you guys the best value that we possibly can. Because what Austin knows about the whole travel game is something that really helped me out when I was starting out this journey, because I was planning this since August of last year. It was something that I knew I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go the Passport Bro route. And if there was a community that could help me with dating and with traveling, because here's the thing, traveling is one thing. It's easy to get the plane ticket, but you gotta have the right strategy as well. Because so many guys, even in Bangkok, as an example, I was in Bangkok and I was talking to this one dude. We met at a meetup, and then we went to Songkran, which is, I'm not sure if you were there for that, Austin, but it's this water festival. It's just absolute mayhem on the streets. People are shooting each other with water guns. We're at this pool party, and this one guy was telling me, he's like, "Man, I'm not really having the easiest time. I'm going on multiple dates. I'm not closing." I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? I don't understand." Like, I'm getting girls to come over straight to my house, and you're taking them out for dinner. Unless you want to take them out for dinner, there's no point. And the truth is, a lot of people don't have a good strategy. I feel like there's so much bad advice on the internet. There really is. A lot of red pill advice is really bad. And maybe it's good information, but at the same time, what I'm sorting, the way my brain sorts it is, how is this going to help you get laid, and how is this gonna help you make money? My dad used to have a phrase: if it doesn't get you paid or it doesn't get you laid, don't say it. And it's the same mentality here. And I think if you're in a situation where you have a good strategy when it comes to dating and you're living overseas, because here's the thing: at the end of the day, if a guy goes overseas to solve a dating problem, that's something that you shouldn't do. In general, you should be going overseas to solve a logistics problem and an internal quality of the leads, not a sourcing problem. You know what I mean? It's the biggest reason why guys in Colombia get got, because they don't really know any better. And this is what this program is going to do. It's going to give you the knowledge that you need to go overseas. But on top of that, I'm also going to be helping you with a strategy. And I recorded the first video yesterday, which is a case study on how I literally brought a girl home 4 hours after getting her number. This was on Monday night. I got her number. She responded to me about an hour and a half later. And then after talking to her for maybe an hour or two, just a little back and forth, she was coming over and we were fucking. And she spent the night. And then I got a blowjob in the morning. If this is interesting to you guys, if this is the type of life that you want to live, then join the group. Let us know, and we'll happily help you with that. At the end of the day, if a Kevin James looking fellow like me, or a Kyle Rittenhouse lookalike like myself, as someone said in the chat before, if someone like that can get those results, what type of results can you get? If I can do it, you can do it. That's my point.
I would agree. So if you guys are interested in learning more about, or if you guys want the secrets to online dating, you want us to all be in a community where you can communicate with Kevin and I, will drop videos on there weekly. All of the travel guides will be on there. So all the playbooks will be on there as well. So like, for example, I did a dating in Sao Paulo, dating in Nairobi, dating in Cali, Colombia, Lima, Peru. I did a few cities, and those were usually $80 a playbook. You get access to all of those if you join this membership on Skool. Now, if you guys already bought the playbook and you see this video, please email me, because I owe you this membership as well. So we'll be around like-minded people that are doing the same thing, that know about dating online, or experts. Everybody's going to be in the group together, and we're all here to learn off each other and share information, so everybody can have the success and the happiness that they want abroad for whatever you want. Online dating is the way to go.
Yeah.
So I'll put the link in the chat. The link will be in the description. If you guys want to hear more of Kevin's hilarious stories about him nutting on girls' faces, his YouTube is Kevin Mosby Lifestyle, and his Instagram is the same thing as well. That is linked in the title. You guys can go click and subscribe to his channel. And yeah, any closing words, Kevin?
Does anyone have any questions? Let's maybe answer questions for a bit.
Yeah, well, we can answer some questions.
Okay. Let's see.
Somebody said you abandoned Floyd to team up with a white man. The white man on screen actually reached out. Like, you know what? The propaganda, Ethan, has to stop.
It really does.
Yeah.
Look, at
It's,
the end of the day, if someone like me, Kevin James lookalike or Kyle Rittenhouse lookalike can do this, you can do it too, Ethan. So stop complaining. We really want to give you guys the best value for your money that you can get. That's something that's really important to me.
yeah. So, any questions for us about online dating?
Thank you. Cut from a different cloth. I appreciate that. That's a really nice thing to say. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for going over there doing that for me. Some
Oh, it's my
people
pleasure.
really just need to shut their mouths, and I'm not talking about you or anybody in the chat, but I just don't like it when people say stuff and then they say, "Oh, I don't want no smoke though," but then they keep running their mouth, and it's like, yo, like, do you know what happened to dudes like that in real life? That pretending like something you're not doing something that didn't end well, but any questions? You guys have no questions about online dating, so everybody in the chat is doing better than Kevin and I.
Is anyone else playing We Will Rock You on Girls' Asses? Are you guys doing something a little more complicated?
I doubt it. I haven't even done that one yet.
I mean, I'm looking at some of these. Some of these comments are a little too much. You guys are your own worst enemy sometimes, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, I was listening to someone was doing a breakdown of the live stream that we were on maybe about a week ago where we were talking about race. And one guy was like trying to talk shit. And he was basically like, oh yeah, this guy definitely does pay for play. It's like, motherfucker. And he was talking about me. And it's like, are you like, it's not even in your reality that you can get the dating life that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can tell you guys this I know Kevin, we talk on a daily basis. He doesn't even come off like he does pay for play. And his system is it's really just it's foolproof.
Oh yeah. Like I could go on a date every day if I want to. Like my chick just responded to me and she yeah, damn, she's asking to meet later. Like she's like, sí, pero que es que podemos vernos más tarde para lo que aún no llego a casa. Okay, a qué hora? Guys, it's really that easy. A qué hora puedes? Hold on. 10 bueno. Yep. Let's move this a bit.
Yes, sir.
It's that easy, guys. Get your passports, go overseas, and just fire up the Tinder.
Well, it doesn't look like the audience has any questions for us, man. They
show us a pic of her. You got it. You got it.
They said we can't see
that. Let's see. What's her name? Celeste. Solid 7. Can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. LJ says, thanks for the photo editing info. LJ, if you join the community, Kevin and I will give you the information you need to know about how to blur the photos, how to edit the saturation, how to select subjects. It's really a big deal. I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples on my Instagram. photos that are edited that you probably can't tell unless if you edit your own photos. Let me go to my Instagram. I actually was having dinner with another expat here in Nairobi, and I was telling him about this same thing, about because he actually owned the dating app, Raya. Like it's his app. And I was telling him about Instagram, about how I think using Instagram is the ROI is a lot higher. There's more of a portfolio on Instagram. You have, like, for example, let me just pull up my account. So right here, looking at my account, you have a bio, you have entrepreneur, whatever, then Instagram, what makes it different, the competition is also going to be a lot higher on Instagram as well, just because it is follower shit. Right? Like this can put you at a way higher advantage, and especially if your likes and stuff match the following. There's a bigger portfolio. There's 303 posts. You have photos, reels, different locations. You can show more. It's like a landing page. If you're trying to sell a product, you can put as much stuff as you want on your landing page to convince the person that they should buy what you have. I also have my website, theaustinholloman.com, so the chicks can do more research. They can go further in. Then I have my gym highlights. This country, photos of fans, which I need to add more. This country. They can spend a lot more time on your profile. And honestly, in my opinion, the more time that they spend on your profile, the more interest that they're building. Like if she's not interested, she's not going to be on your fucking Instagram for 30 minutes. She'll be on there for 30 seconds at best. I just realized I didn't even show y'all a photo that was edited that I was trying to show y'all. So let me pull it back up. She can also see who you're following, who follows you. That can work against you. It can work for you. If you got a bunch of women following your Instagram, believe it or not, it can work for you because it's like a form of pre-selection. Now, if you're following a bunch of IG models that don't follow you back, it can make you thirsty. So this photo was edited very, very slightly, like very slightly, because this was taken with a good camera. So honestly, if you guys can get like a real DSLR, somebody that can do a photo shoot, it works good. Some people say like the iPhone takes good pictures. I kind of call bullshit on that. Like when I have the newest iPhone, or the one that came out in 2023, and it takes really good photos, but it doesn't take these photos. Like this is some shit I could put on a book cover, But this was taken with my, hold on. Like this was taken with my iPhone. Nothing really special about this photo. Like if it wasn't for that shit in the background, like I don't think this wouldn't be. It just looks like that other camera would have done away. My DJI shoots better video footage than that. This was taken with Casey. His phone takes. I think he has the best. This is taken. Casey, this guy on the right here. He took this with his cell phone. If you ask me, that looks way better than that iPhone shit.
Yeah, I have the S24 Plus. It's a really good camera. Very good camera.
I think I would literally just buy that camera just to take. I mean, I buy that phone just for the camera. I wouldn't even use it for anything else.
I mean, overseas, everyone uses WhatsApp, so there's really not much of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Oh, it sent a green text message shit.
Yeah.
That's only in the States. I think it's like that.
Yeah, that's why I switched when I was getting on T-Mobile, right? I have an iPhone 12 Plus, I think, 12 Pro Max or something, I forget. Yeah, I think it's the Pro Max. And I wanted an extra phone just for backup, just in case, I lose one of my phones, something happens. So T-Mobile was giving a free promotion with the US 24 Plus. So I'm like, you know what? Let me pick it up. Why not? And I'm not really into the Android ecosystem because I'm all Apple, but this is the camera on this is fantastic.
Yeah. The Android definitely have better cameras, hands down. This was taken with an Android as well. I got a lot of action off of this photo. This photo got 1,500 likes. I'd never promoted it or nothing like that. This photo of me on the beach was taken with my iPhone. I think I got lucky. I think it was because I had the right lighting. Now we could say it's just because I was in the photo is why it looks so good, but we're not going to say that. There was some editing done to make myself pop more and be more, because it didn't look like that. But to make myself pop more, I had to edit that. And some of these photos you're going to have to edit. This was edited to make it look like I was standing directly in front of this thing in Portugal. There was hundreds of people standing behind me, but I removed them.
Yeah, you can do that on the Android.
It makes the focus bounce back to you instead of stuff that's in the background.
Yeah, that
this is one of my photos.
Yeah, I did the same thing with this one photo that I took when I was in Japan. That bamboo forest, the famous one that you see on Instagram all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there and I did the same thing, just removed everyone.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. This was taken with my iPhone. This was also taken by a woman. I find that women take the best photos, and if it's a man that takes a good photo, he does that shit all the time. But women take photos all the time. That's why when I see a woman, I'm like, take my photo. Now, I've had some chicks I asked, like when I was in Manaus, I told this chick to take a photo of me. She's like, I don't know how to take photos. She was not fucking lying, because she took a picture of me and my whole body wasn't even in a picture. I was like, just give me my damn phone back. If you messed up like that, you're never going to get it right. I'm getting off topic, though. I was just irritated by that. This was taken with an iPhone here in Kenya by a woman. This was taken with an iPhone here in Kenya by a woman. By a man, I'm sorry. This was taken with an Android. Nothing special about this photo when it comes to editing. It was just a photo of us hanging out. But yeah, don't use an iPhone to take pictures. I mean, if that's all you got, use it. But if I were to tell you, get an Android.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about this phone, the camera. But yeah, guys, any other questions? If not, we're gonna bounce off.
I don't think they have any questions.
All right. Guess they're all Jack fucking 5 new girls a week. Yeah. We got the wrong crowd tonight. Looks like we're only talking to guys that are smashing 5 girls a week, that are perfect 10s, and these guys are jacked, super chads. Yeah, looks like that's the crowd tonight.
But usually the people that actually buy stuff, they don't ever leave comments.
Oh, really?
So yeah, the amount of people, now I'll chop this up in the shorts as well, but people that are interested, the link is in the description. It'll be the first pinned comment. Yeah, it's been in this live chat. If you guys are interested in learning how to date online, like we've shown you, we got Kesa from Rwanda online. Kate came from, actually, I think everybody y'all seen that was a character almost came from online. We have one question from JD right here. He says, what other apps do you use besides FaceApp? Austin, what were you looking at? What were you looking at when Kevin was telling his stories? Oh, I have somebody sitting right here, and she keeps looking at me. So I was looking at her
Thank
because
you.
she's
I
playing a
appreciate it, sweetie.
But besides FaceApp, we told you
I
guys
think
about Photoshop,
Snow's good. Snow.
but you have to learn how to do those things, man. Like it took me months and months to learn how to edit my own photos with Photoshop. It's definitely a strategy to it. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Kevin is pretty funny though. It's funny because the shit he says is like it's very it's something that most people would not say, and he says it with a smile and like this very I'm not saying nothing wrong tone. Like he's like, yeah, I just nutted all on her face. Or when you said I like, what did you say on the date? You were like, I like to have sex or something. What do you think about that?
No, I'll say something along the lines of, yeah, wow, me and you have really good chemistry. I think if we had sex, it would be really awesome. What do you think?
That's funny.
Yeah, like she was really receptive. Came over. That was the picture that I posted in the chat with the girl. Remember the one I was playing guitar and like I shot it over the guitar and she had her ass up in the air.
Yeah.
I think I can show it here. Let me pull this up so you boys can see this. Let's see. It's this one.
Oh.
So yeah, this is the type of dating advice that that actually gets you the results. This is the actual dating advice. It's not the bullshit that you see on Fresh and Fit. As entertaining as it is, watching them, berate bimbos, it's funny, but it's not going to help you get laid. It's not going to help you do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kevin, I think that's it for right now. We will do another show. We need to do more informative shows like this.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, we need to do some more informative shows teaching guys about stuff that they don't know, which is a lot of. Let me say, there's a lot of guys besides how to attract women on online dates. You guys need to learn how to go on a date. You
Yeah.
guys like we touched on that a little bit today, but I've seen some guys start asking chicks how much money do they make, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So you want to make her insecure? Like, like what if she's broke and like now you just rub it in her face? Like, oh yeah, I only make. And you're going to these countries where people are earning like $500 a fucking month. Like, she's just gonna tell you like, oh yeah, I know that you earn 5,000, but I only earn 10% of that. Why the hell are you talking about that on a fucking date? Like, you shouldn't be asking her that until, I don't know, you ready to get her pregnant or have kids with her. I mean, or have a marriage with her. Her income is kind of irrelevant at that point.
Thursdays with Kitty Kev every week. Kitty Kevy. That'll be my rap name, Kitty Kevy.
But we need to teach them how to go on a date. They need to learn how to be presentable. They need to learn how to be able to stop somebody when they see them in public.
Yeah, that's a question I definitely ask. Am I the first white boy you ever had? Well, I actually would ask something like that if I want to. I know this comment is meant to troll, but that's actually a good question to ask. Like, oh, have you ever dated a foreigner before? Have you ever dated someone from the States before? Some of these girls haven't. So,
Marty said something too that I notice a lot of guys say. Do you think you should cook for your man? If you have plans on, like, if you're sexually attracted to a chick, don't ask her about feminism on the first date. Don't ask her, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because, I mean, it depends on what you want. But, I mean, even if you're looking for a wife, don't ask that on the first date. Like, wait until you, like, actually, because you don't want it to be an interview. It's like just a vibe. Like Kevin said, you have good chemistry. What about the sex? What do you think about that? Like, that's more of what you should be leaning towards. Or like the red pill checklist. What's your body count?
Yeah, that's something you should never bring up. You should never even tell a girl your body count. Like my body count's in the hundreds. I would never tell a chick that. That is not something you want to say.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever asked a chick since I've been an adult. When I was in high school, I did that kind
She'll lie to you about it. She's not going to tell you. Doesn't matter.
of. Yeah, ask a chick what her body count is. I guarantee you, nobody's gonna say anything over 10, and that's not true.
Mm.
Especially now, you gotta break it down logically. Think about how easy it is for a woman to get sex, and they're 30 and they've only slept with 10 guys. She can literally just walk in the supermarket and be like, okay, who wants to take me home today? She will have motherfuckers lined up.
Me, pick
Especially,
me, pick me.
and she could be like not even attractive, like nothing, no ass, no nothing, nothing, no face, ass, nothing. And she will have people lined up. So I'm not believing that bullshit that this every chick got below. I used to make some. Now I think we're just freestyling this live stream at this point now. I remember when I was a barber and I had this Packy dude that I used to cut from Pakistan, Packy. And I said, I was thinking, I think by the time a woman is 30, she slept with at least 50 guys. And I think that number needs to be adjusted now, based off what I've seen. Especially depending on, like, if you're in South America, that is probably going to be a higher number. So, and if you're in Patsy, we already know about them. But if she sleeps with 5, like we could throw a easy number out there, like a woman that's single from 20 to 30 sleeps with 5 guys a year. That doesn't sound like a lot. Like that's like what, one every fucking season, plus maybe 2 in wintertime. Who knows? And then, which we know that number's not right either. But I'm just being general. I'm just being nice, saying 5. Do that times 10, that's 50. So, and let's not talk about this whole phase. So if 5 doesn't sound like a lot, how many is in the fucking whole phase? So I'm not believing that bullshit. Now, does it matter to me? No, I don't care. That's why I don't ask. But when I think about it, I'm like, I wish somebody would tell me that.
All right, so a couple things. So I should stand out amongst Australians usually travel to Europe and Asia. Look, I have an Australian cousin. Half of my family actually, when they immigrated from Ukraine, some of them went through Israel to America, and some of them went from Ukraine to Australia. And yeah, so I have Australian family. And my cousin from Australia immigrated to America, and he is cleaning up. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, the girls love the accents to the point where he's getting really annoyed about it. All right, so Jay over here, we got a troll over here. Jay Mosby talked about how successful he was in Thailand and never showed any receipts. Number one, girls don't usually let you take. They're not as open to me filming something. You know what I mean? But I got a couple over here. I got this chick playing guitar for her. What else do I got? I got another one somewhere. Thailand is a place you don't really need receipts because of how easy it is. There's another one over here.
Mostly, whenever you finish that one, I want to bring up this next question.
Okay. When did I smash the Singaporean? Yeah, this is the only chick that let me hit it raw, unfortunately. Yeah, bring up the next question while I look for it.
So Marty says, do you guys think it would be a good idea to stop watching porn when they set out to start dating heavily? So if you're on my Patreon, I talked about my porn detox. Porn really is the devil.
Oh.
Stop watching porn and notice how you perform better at the gym. Notice how your muscles, I swear to God, notice how your muscles start to look different when you stop watching porn. Notice how much upright eye contact and better conversation you have when you stop watching porn.
Mhm.
Notice how you stop saying goofy shit when you talk to women, because here's the thing. First of all, if you've been jacking off, you probably don't even have the urge to approach. And if you do, you're so empty and your mind is so satisfied at an unrealistic rate to the point where you don't know what to say. So you'll just start saying dumb shit to fill in the gap. I've done it. Humans are animals, right? And I stand by that. There's no need to stand by that. There's only two living things on earth, plants and animals. We're not plants. And just like when a female dog is in heat, somehow the dogs come running from 3 blocks away. I don't know how the hell they know. Women are the same way with men. I swear to God, whenever I do that semen retention, I haven't had sex or watched porn in like 2 weeks. It's like I become a fucking magnet. It's a lot of women looking at me. What the hell? It correlates every time. I'm not giving y'all no more free game.
Yeah, for sure. Porn in general, it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm always gonna say goofy shit, you know what I mean? I'm very like, I'm very just like, I just say funny things. It just flows out of me. I get a little witticisms here and there. It is what it is. But other than that, like, yeah, like porn in general, like, is not good. And dude, porn has gotten way downhill. Now it's all like stepmom this, stepmom that. Like, what the fuck happened to the amateur shit?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
and the thing is, it makes your brain, you start to build a tolerance, right? So you'll go from, like, I guess I was never turned on by watching some girl finger herself. Some dudes like that, I'd be like, no, like I need to see sex. And then after a while, that doesn't work anymore. Now you need to see her sleep with 2 guys. Before you know it, you're watching something where it's like, okay, I have to stop. Because I would never even do this shit in real life. But that's why I say it's made by the fucking devil. And you know I'm right because the content is there. They wouldn't be having all these gangbang episodes if nobody was watching them. You know, like now there's some guys that say that they I read the Your Brain on Porn book, and there was this one guy that said he got to a point where he started watching animals get fucked by people. And I'm like, yeah, now something is just wrong with you, man. Because I would have never thought, like, I'm gonna go watch a goat.
It's like, have you heard the story of Mr. Hands?
He wrote about it in a book. Like, they have like some people want to watch women get raped, and I'm like, how much porn were you watching to get to that point? Like, there's nothing that turns me on about somebody resisting and kicking and screaming and who is acting these porn episodes? Like, that has to be mentally detrimental to the woman, and the man must be crazy as hell to do that. Or they're paying them a lot of money.
My God. I remember one time I told my dad, yeah, that's very true. Women make a lot of money on porn. I remember I told my dad, I'm like, yeah, like my dad was like, I was like 18 years old. I'm like, Dad, don't tell me what to do. I can go do porn if I want to. My dad's like, really? You know how much male porn stars make? They don't make anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, imagine bragging about getting women in Thailand. 50% of the females in Thailand are ladyboys. Talk about being uneducated, right? Like, I would only see lady boys if I went to Soy Cowboy, Nana Plaza, and Soy 11. That's the only place where they go and congregate. Like it's so easy to avoid them. It's so easy to avoid them.
Yeah, that's a myth. They're definitely there. There's no shortage of lady boys in Thailand, but like you're not. If a dude told you like he accidentally took a lady boy home, either he's gay or he has no sense of awareness. Like there, you might accidentally, hold hands with a lady boy. Be like, oh shit! But going all the way to the house, nah, I think you wanted to do that. They ain't that cold blooded with them surgeries yet. They ain't that cold blooded.
I'll tell you a funny story. This doesn't involve me fucking a lady boy. So I went to the mall across the street from my apartment, and I went to go get some vitamins, right? So I had to go take a shit before, right? So I go to the bathroom, I take a dump, right? And turns out the lady that was working in the pharmacist, rather the person that was working in the pharmacist was a lady boy. So he was getting a little too close to me, right? A little too close. So I'm like backing away a bit, right? Like I'm almost like running out of the store, right? And literally, as I was paying, he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you have toilet paper coming out of your jeans." And I'm like, "Oh shit." Because like when I was sitting down, I put some toilet paper on the toilet seat and I accidentally caught some in my pants.
Okay.
He was trying to tell me, "Hey, you got some toilet paper."
Wait, how were your pants that high to catch the toilet paper while you were?
I don't know. It's like maybe as it was coming down, but as I was pulling my pants up, I got some toilet paper.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Somebody said that's cringe.
That was pretty cringe. I'm like, okay, like yeah, like the truth is like the lady boys in America aren't on like the dumb trend. Let me make sure this doesn't get banned. They aren't like the alphabet people in America that expect you to call them men, that rather expect you to call them women and to treat them as women. It's not the same thing. Like at the end of the day, a ladyboy doesn't want to surprise, like he doesn't want to do that to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're like in America, I think transgenders are not aware that they're a transgender. But in other countries, like they know. Like even gay men in other countries don't like this is so if you're in Brazil, you wouldn't hate gay people. But in America, and I'm not saying I do because I don't want nobody coming after me, but they have this thing where they're like, oh, they try to approach you like, oh no, I'm not gay. Turn him out. I'm like, this is where these hate crimes come from. Because now I just told it's like a woman, right? If a woman tells you she's not interested and you still pursue, it's like, okay. Like, and the men in the United States do it like, oh, Austin said he's not gay. Well, I'm just gonna drug him. They're just gonna try to drug you and rape you now. Like they don't stop. There's no chill. So when I'm in other countries, like I don't like there's no issue. Like they don't bother you.
Yeah.
So the whole ladyboy thing, like they're not bothering you. Yeah, they're gonna test you to see, but like if you say no, they're not gonna be chasing you down the street. Like
my charger in. Best diet for coming more. Take some maca.
But so let's read. I'll let you read one more super chat. The Art of Will says she can make your week whole if you make her whole week. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. I was mainly talking about being a white Australian going to Latin America because Aussies don't really travel down there. I think you'd have the same experience as a white American or a white British. I mean, you'd probably be more rare, so I don't know. But yeah, that's it for today. We'll do another Q&A. We could do this every. I don't know. Yeah, but we'll do this again. So I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody who came through.
Thank you guys for listening. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you join the school group. Also follow us on Instagram at the Austin Holloman and at Kevin Mosby Lifestyle. Also, sign up for the school link. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side and teaching you guys how to be an absolute degenerate like myself. One more question. We'll end it with this. Favorite sex position, back shots or missionary back shots? What kind of question is that? Well, I mean, I prefer doggy and then nutting in her mouth because I think that's like a waste of a load if I nut on her back. You know what I mean? Or on them titties and watch her lick it up, but that's about it.
All right, man. So yeah, we appreciate you coming through, man. And I'll see you next time. We'll talk on the
That's
back
the name of
end.
my product, Degenerate University. Thank you.